Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allison. I'm 28 years old. I work full-time in healthcare and I also am doing content creation part-time on the side. I really enjoy posting content about personal finances as well as just lifestyle content in general. So if you like this video, subscribe and follow along. Today's video is going to be a how I budget my paycheck video. I absolutely love watching these videos and I enjoy making them as well. I find them super interesting, and also I'm nosy and like to know about everyone else's finances. So I also think it's important to be transparent, and I like sharing this information as well. I think it's also interesting because everyone's financial situation is so different. It's also so unique and interesting to learn from other people's financial situations. Everyone always has something that you can like learn from in some kind of way. So, money kind of brings up some controversial opinions, which tends to do well on social media. So just a little background about my financial situation. Like I said, I'm 28 years old. I do work full-time in healthcare. I get paid bi-weekly and I am an hourly employee, so I get an hourly wage. So my paycheck does vary just slightly. Typically it's around like within like $100 one way or the other. I sometimes get a little bit of overtime. Not usually, but usually I'm like kind of right at the 80-hour mark, so it just varies slightly, but generally the same amount. Some other things reflected in my finances is I do have a little bit of debt. So I have a little bit of credit card debt, and I will go over this at the end. My last video kind of did a debt update with you guys, and I'll go over that again after we go through what I've paid off from this paycheck. So I have credit card debt, and then I also have a car loan. Just some things to keep in mind. Also, me and my husband do also have a house saving goal. That's another financial thing that's on like our plate, if that makes sense. So everyone has different goals, everyone has different situations, everyone makes a different amount of money, everyone has different bills, everyone has different investments. That's what makes this interesting, I think. There's no really one way to do something with your finances. I think everyone has their own way. There's definitely like the wrong way, which is just like spend frivolously. But what I've learned really in this last year is that when it comes to having a budget, it's super important, for me at least, to have everything kind of written out and visualize like these are the things that I have to pay for in the next 2 weeks. So this is the budget that I have to work with for things that I maybe want versus need. Anyway, let's get into it. I'll start off with going through my income, because that's kind of what I use to budget the rest of my expenses. So again, like I said, I do typically have a general number that I use to budget, just like come up with a rough budget, and then once I know what my exact pay is, I kind of go back through. But my income, so this is for my paycheck that was August 9th, and my income was $2,281, and then I had $30 left over in my checking account from last pay period. So that is typically around what I have left, I would say. I try to do like a $0 budget, which essentially means that like a lot of my money has a place and a purpose, so that I'm not really overspending. And also I am really trying to pay off my debt right now, so like a good amount is just going to that, so that I don't know, I just feel better about that versus like, again, having all this money to work with. So you'll see at the end, I usually leave myself with a certain amount of money for the 2 weeks and really try to stick to that budget for, you know, anything like eating out, coffee, those kinds of things, because I do let myself have those things even like when I'm on a budget. So that number is like roughly $2,311 is what like I'll use as my number to budget with. So moving on to expenses, the first thing I always save for is my rent, because that is something obviously I have to pay every single month. And how I break it up is like my rent is $850, which we're very lucky. We do live in an area that is relatively cheap, low cost of living, and we got very lucky with the apartment that we're in, because obviously it's pretty nice. It's 2-bedroom. It's like kind of like set up like a townhouse, and it's much bigger than our old apartment, and we like outside of Boston, and we were paying twice as much to live there. So we did get very lucky with this apartment, and my total rent is actually only $850. I pay that, and then my husband pays the utilities. So that's how it works out for us. We do like that also right now because we both kind of have some debt that we're trying to pay off, as well as having such low expenses gives us more room to save for a house as well. It's working out really well for us, and again, this apartment is pretty decent for the price, obviously. Anyway, I always go on a little tangent, but I wanted to explain that. So anyway, I break it up between the two paychecks, $400 for my first paycheck and then $450 for my second one. It all kind of depends too, like that can switch sometimes depending on which paycheck I need to pay my car payment. That can kind of switch a little bit, but month I'm gonna save $400 for my first paycheck for my rent. The next thing is my savings. So this is my emergency fund savings account. I did have to take money out of this recently to pay for some repairs on my car. I'm just someone who likes to have an emergency fund for these reasons, like when I needed to pay $1,000 for my car. I am trying to get that to $4,000. I would like it to be even more than that because they say to have like 6 months of expenses. The first goal is really just to get it to like 4,000 and feel good about that, and then start saving for the house. Into that I put $120, and I think the extra 20 was because I just like to have even numbers in my accounts. Very type A over here. And then I also put $120 into our like joint house fund savings account. And then again, that's just so that it's at an even number. I say this in almost all my videos. I do think it is okay to be saving for a house while also trying to pay off debt. It's still possible to reach your goals in life while also paying off debt. You know, we have this timeline. I know that I'm gonna pay off my credit cards by the end of this year, and then we also still want to buy a house next year. So to me, it's just not that deep. Then the next thing is I put $50 into my Roth IRA. I just automatically do that every paycheck. It comes right out. This is just so that I am slightly at least putting some away every paycheck for my retirement. I obviously contribute into my 401k, but this is an extra individual retirement account that you can put money into. And basically, like anything else, like any other investment, the earlier you start investing, the better. Obviously, I would like to max that out every year. It's just not possible right now with everything going on, so we're working on that, but I just do what I can right now. Next is our grocery account. We do have a separate just checking account for groceries and household items. So into that, we both put money into that account, and I put $125 into there, and then we just use that for groceries, anything like that. That way we still haven't fully combined our finances. We do want to do that eventually, or at least partially. This was kind of the first step because we didn't want to keep Venmoing each other, or like you pay this time, I'll pay next time kind of situation. It just makes way more sense to put money into this account and use that. So that's been working great for us, which is why we want to combine our finances in the future. At least for bills and stuff, I think we would still have like at least one separate account for fun money, so to speak. But same when we have like a mortgage and other bills and stuff, it just would make more sense if it all came out of one thing instead of being like, oh hey, you owe me this much money for the mortgage, whatever. Then I do have to pay my car payment during this pay period. So my car payment is $332, but I'm gonna put $400 towards the car loan. I like to do this every single month, really. If I could put more towards it, I would, obviously. Once I pay off my credit card, that is also the goal, is to start paying more towards that. Basically, I just pretend that the payment is $400 right now, and like specifically on the portal, I can allocate that extra money to go right towards the principal, which hopefully effectively helps me save on interest. So, and then the next thing I do is take a look at any subscriptions for the next 2 weeks. And I just have 3. I cut down on my subscriptions last month, so I'm very excited about that. The first one is Netflix, and that is $15.49. Then my Planet Fitness membership, which is just $10. And then our Blink subscription, which is our little camera system that we use for just watching the cats. Security, I guess, is $10.63. So total subscription cost is $36.12. The next thing that I budget for is my 2 cats, my little babies. They obviously need to eat and they need cat litters. So pretty much every 2 weeks I get something delivered. So they're kind of expensive. During these 2 weeks, I need cat litter and cat food. So that would be $80. So that's what I budget for them. And then the last thing is my credit card. So again, I'm really trying to push and pay this off as quickly as I can. So right now I can put $700 towards my credit cards. If you add that all together, that brings my expenses to $2,031. which is kind of a lot. Then if you subtract that from my income, which was $2,311, that leaves me with just about $280 for the next 2 weeks to get anything that I need or want. It's not a lot. It's hard for 2 weeks to budget with that kind of money, but if you really think about it, the rest of my expenses are pretty much covered in that $2,000 that I already have budgeted. Like any food, groceries, things like that, the cat stuff, like it's all in my budget already. So this is really just for going out to eat maybe once, getting a coffee once a week, getting gas. That's what this is for. So if you really truly stick to that budget, you should be fine. Like that's what I tell myself. It's just hard as someone who does like to shop and is very easily influenced. You know, that doesn't give me room to like buy clothes. I can't buy makeup. I can't buy some things that I want. I really have to tell myself like, you know what? No, I can't afford that. And I've been getting much better at telling myself that instead of like just put it on the credit card and I'll pay it back later, because obviously I'm in a situation where now it's gotten a little out of control and I wasn't catching up to myself. I just kept putting stuff on the credit cards. So, but I hope that kind of helps maybe somebody else figure out the best way for them to budget. Again, I just always find it interesting to see how other people budget, what other people's monthly expenses look like. Car payment is lower, some people don't have a car payment. It all depends. So I do find it interesting how, you know, everybody else budgets their money and what they choose to spend their money on. Obviously, I feel like I said this last time, obviously I can't wait till I pay off these dang credit cards, because I just like to think about how, like, what else I could do with that $700 if I didn't have to put it towards my credit card. And that's really my motivation right now, is just like, dang girl, you could be doing so much more with that. You could be paying off your car faster, you could be investing more of that into like your Roth IRA, you could be putting that towards saving for the house even more. So it's just frustrating, but obviously I got myself into this situation, so we're getting ourselves out of it. That is how I budget my paycheck. Last thing I'm going to go through is my current debt situation, because I want to keep you guys updated on this journey. And again, I'll be fully transparent with you. I did make a purchase on one of these credit cards, so it didn't go down quite as much as I wanted it to. So again, I have a Chase credit card. That one I'm trying to pay off first because it has a low balance. Chase card currently is sitting at $500. We're very close to paying that one off. And then my Bank of America balance transfer card is now at $5,700. So that means my total credit card is at $6,200. Yeah, we're working on it. We are working on it. That is also why I'm on social media, because I'm trying to make extra money through social media to help pay off my credit card and also just make money in general. I love having some other kinds of passive income and I love creating content, so why not also try to get some money from making content. And then finally, my car loan is now at, after I made my payment, it's at $15,746. So honestly, I don't think that that's bad. I only got my car a year ago and that's where I'm at. Obviously, by the time I make my next payment, there will be a little bit of interest gained on this. That number always kind of fluctuates like daily pretty much. That brings my total debt to just under like $22,000. That is the current situation, and that's how I budget my paycheck to prioritize paying off my debt. I can't wait to share more of these with you guys and get past the debt payoff phase so I can show you guys what I plan to do with my money once I don't have to pay off my credit cards. Also, let this be a lesson to show you guys that you shouldn't get into credit card debt because all of your money will go towards paying it off. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and we'll see you in the next video.